Chat with us in Facebook Messenger. Find out WHAT and APO's happening in the world as it unfolds. ISIS-linked fighters in the Philippines city of Marawi holding out against heavy assault. 11 soldiers were killed and 7 others injured in what the Philippines government has described as a "friendly fire incident" in Marawi, on the southern island of Mindanao. Government forces are battling ISIS-linked militants for control of the city, displacing at least 70,000 residents and leaving 140 people dead. According to CNN Philippines, on Wednesday 2 jets were conducting strikes against members of the MOP group, which has pledged allegiance to ISIS, when one struck members of the 55th Infantry Battalion. The first plane dropped the ordnance accurately, but the second one missed. "It hit our troops, there must be some mistake there," said Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Airstrikes will not be halted over the incident, Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP, spokesman Brig. Gen. Restituto Padilla said Thursday, adding they were needed to neutralize MOT snipers. Also speaking Thursday, Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte said those behind the violence in Marawi were "purely ISIS." He added that Isnilon Hapilon, the designated ISIS emir for Southeast Asia, was a student of HISTORY and had planned the latest rebellion for a long time. Government forces are conducting regular airstrikes on ISIS positions in Marawi. Martial law has been declared for the entire island of Mindanao, where fighting is ongoing. Earlier this week, officials said government forces were in near complete control of Marawi, but rooting out the last pockets of resistance seems to be taking longer than first expected. Recalcitrant remnants of the MOT ISIS refused to heed the call of government to give up their arms and continued their resistance while holding fortified buildings and structures. The AFP and APO's Padilla said. They are employing hostile sniper fires and improvised explosive device against everyone, from government security forces to relief and rescue workers to civilians who get in the way of their fanatical desire to dismember Marawi from the Philippines and establish it as an ISIS province in this part of Asia. CNN Philippines reported Thursday that 100 militants had been killed since the fighting broke out on May 23. As of Wednesday, 19 civilians on 21 security forces had died, according to state media. At least 5,000 members of the Moro National Liberation Front, MNLF, a separatist militant organization that has signed a peace treaty with Manila, are positioned around Marawi ready to assist government forces, CNN Philippines reported Wednesday. Duterte suggested last week he would be open to tapping the former rebel group, along with members of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front for support against ISIS. If this martial law lasts and you want to help us fight for the republic, I will use you as soldiers with the same pay, privileges, and I will build houses for you, he said. The Philippines Justice Department has issued warrants for more than 100 members of the MOP group and the Abu Sayyaf terrorist organization, both of which are believed to be involved in the fighting in Marawi. Militants entered the city after a failed government operation to arrest Hapilon, an Abu Sayyaf leader who has succeeded in uniting several disparate Islamist groups in the region under the ISIS banner. Philippines officials said he was likely still in the city, pointing to the ferocity of ongoing resistance from the MOT fighters. Philippine troops rescued civilians at a village on the outskirts of Marawi on May 31. According to CNN Philippines, some of those fighters are boys as young as 16 or 14. Refugees from Marawi have spoken of seeing child soldiers, and previous ISIS propaganda about the region showed children and young teenagers wearing black bandanas and taking part in training exercises. There are also foreign fighters in the city, Defense Secretary Lorenzana said Thursday that 8 foreigners had been identified among militants killed by government forces. There were 2 from Saudi Arabia, 2 from Malaysia, 2 from Indonesia, 1 from Yemen and 1 from Chechnya. He said. We don't have any record of them coming through the proper channel, through the airports. There's only one way, maybe coming from Indonesia or from Malaysia. ISIS-linked groups are known to be operational in the semi-lawless border areas between the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia.